Today we're going to be looking at how to build and install a hop-up assembly specifically for R-hop barrels. Now R-hop barrels are a great upgrade for your platform but are often installed incorrectly. First things first, you're going to need an R-hop barrel. You can buy these with the R-hop pre-installed, or you can buy the patch and attempt to install it yourself. You're also going to need a flat hop bucking. Now flat hop simply refers to the absence of the nub on the internal bore of the bucking. You can verify if your bucking is flat hop by either turning it inside out or just looking down it, and if it's smooth all the way around, then you have a flat hop bucking. Now there is an internal seam on the buckings that lines it up with the barrel. You can either have this or not have it. It doesn't change the performance of your barrel assembly. Several companies sell flat hop buckings, or you can attempt to shave it down yourself with a little bit of patience. The last thing you're gonna need is a hop-up chamber. Now it's very important that you do your research on what hop-up works with your platform, as compatibility in airsoft is often very questionable. The most important component of the hop-up chamber itself is actually the arm. You're going to want to use a flat hop arm to ensure even contact across your R-hop patch. If you use a standard arm with your R-hop barrel, you will have a decrease in performance. Once again, you can buy these flat hop arms from several manufacturers, or you can attempt to do it yourself. All you have to do is shave down the wings on the arm itself and apply a piece of rubber. Now you're going to want to do research on what hop-up systems and buckings work well together. Often the tolerances between the two cause issues such as air seal or improper fitment. If you're still unsure of what works well together, we suggest you buy your hop-up unit first and grab several different buckings that you might be interested in. If you're still lost, we're going to provide you with a couple different resources that you can check out in the description below. Now that you have everything, it's time to put it all together. Today I'm going to be demonstrating with a Pro 1 hop-up chamber and a Madball Blue bucking. This is a combination that we've had good luck with in the past. The first step is to put the bucking on the barrel itself. Now the only thing you need to watch out for is if you have a center seam on the bucking. If you do, make sure it lines up with the channel on your barrel. If you don't have a center seam, it doesn't really matter what orientation you put the bucking on. The next step is to put the barrel and bucking into your hop-up chamber. Now we suggest that you try to do this with no lube at first, but if you do feel a considerable amount of friction, you will need a little bit of silicone grease. If you put the lube on the outside of the bucking itself, as you press it into the hop-up chamber, the grease will simply skim off of it. Start with a little bit of grease and grab a Q-tip and carefully just swirl it around and get an even coat on the inside of your hop-up chamber. Before you put the barrel back in, check to make sure there's no globs of silicone grease laying around. Try again to reinstall your barrel and bucking. If you still feel a little bit of resistance, put a small amount of grease on the bucking itself and try again. Once you get the barrel in your hop-up system, look down the barrel and check to see if there's any folds or unevenness with your bucking. If there is, you're going to have to slide the barrel and bucking out and try to reinsert. This will ensure that you have no problems with jamming or air seal. Once you get good placement of your barrel, it's time to put the C-clip on. Simply put the C-clip in the groove and make sure it fully presses down. Now take your flat hop arm and put it in your chamber. This will be secured by a little pin on the side of your hop-up chamber. Once you get the flat hop arm in, you're going to want to put your wheel and your wheel clip on. Once you have the wheel seated, secure it to the hop-up chamber. Now that you have your barrel assembly all together, there's a few different things that you're going to want to check. The first is that on your lowest setting, you don't have any protrusion of your R-hop patch. If you do, you will have an overhopping issue. The second thing you're going to want to check is that as you increase your hop, your R-hop patch stays center all the way down. Once you've checked both these things, you're ready to install it into your gun. Now that you have your barrel assembly all put together, it's time to put it into your gun. Now the first step to do that is to take your old barrel out. Depending on what gun you're using, there's several different methods to do this. For most version 2 guns, all you have to do is punch out this front pin and simply disconnect your upper from lower. Once you've done that, you'll pull the old barrel out and make sure you've gotten any springs that are connected to it. Now take your new barrel assembly and simply slide it into your upper receiver. And then reconnect your upper and lower and punch that pin back into place. Once you get the new barrel in, you're going to want to check the spacing of the hop-up to the gearbox shell. Simply place your finger into the mag well and press forward on your hop-up unit. If there's any sort of wiggle, you're going to need to space it back properly. To do that, take the pin out again and take your assembly out. Many companies like to use springs to space the hop-up unit against the gearbox shell, but we found much better luck using O-rings to do it, and it yields better consistency. To do this, simply slide the O-ring over the front of the barrel and press it all the way against the front of the hop-up chamber. Now every gun is different, so start out with one O-ring and keep adding O-rings on until you can't put your upper onto your lower. At that point, remove one O-ring, put the barrel back into the upper, and reassemble your lower. Now that you have your upper and lower back together, once again put your finger into the mag well and check to see if you can push your hop-up unit back and forth. If not, then you properly space your hop-up unit. Now that you got everything together, you're ready to go use it out in the field. Now do note that there is a slight break-in phase when it comes to R-hops, and it will only improve over time. Now for optimal results, we do suggest that you use heavyweight BBs, and also be sure to maintain and clean your barrel on a regular basis. We hope you found this video useful. If you still have questions, comment them down below and we'll do our best to answer all of them. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for future tech-related content.